Yeah. So my name is Nale Dizama, in case you don't know me, and I'll be your MC this evening. So the first thing, before we even just start with the program, the very first thing we need to do, I'm gonna need everybody in this room to stand up. Please stand up, just this once. And we're going to give Minette a round of applause. But without Minette, yes. Minette, thank you so much. This is a very important Congress, 60th Congress. I'm sure you received over 1 million emails in the past month. Without you, this wouldn't have happened. So we thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Please come up. Thank you so much, Minette. Thank you, Minette. Okay, so now we're gonna start the program, okay? Just wanna say that there are a bunch of photographers around, so you better look sharp because we don't know where these pictures are gonna end up. You might trend on Twitter, who knows, okay? So make sure you look dapper. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is the inauguration of the new president. Just wanna say something. So I know the president, the vice president. Yo, I know so many people, guys. I'm so honored. Okay, so I'd like to call up Dr. Ntutu Mkhize, our previous president, who is going to share a few words about the incoming presidents. Let's give him a round of applause. Woo!
Thank you, Anna Laliti. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure to introduce and unleash to you our brand new president, Dr. Michelle Teda from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And let me just assure you, I know you guys are used to my leadership and you are not sure whether I'm leaving you in good hands. Let me assure you, this is the reason why I've been successful as president the past 12 months. So instead of getting the levels that you have received from me, you're actually going to get extra because everything that I've done was coming from her. I've known her for the past 10 years now, Michelle. So, yes, we've been working together for 10 years. So when I tell you that she's a great person and you're in good hands, I know what I'm talking about. And I'm not going to say any more about her because I'm going to give her a chance now to tell you more about herself. Instead, I'm going to do this too.
Yeah, we can't see.
Michelle, congratulations and over to you. Thank you very much.
I'm going to go and stand over there so I can put the mic on a stand. Right, let me get my notes. Firstly, thank you so much, everyone. So for those who don't know me, I have been with the University of KwaZulu-Natal for 11 years. Before that, I worked some short contracts with Izimvelo KZN Wildlife and with SAON. Now at this conference, we've had a lot of discussion about training up the next generation, about continuing the legacy of our founding members. And I'm proud to say that to use a coin termed by one of our delegates when he was chatting to me during the conference, I'm proud to say I'm an F2 generation. I was trained by Professor Kevin Kirkman, an F1 generation, trained by Prof. Neil Tainton, one of the founders of our society. So I'm a very proud F2 generation, and I'm delighted to say on council with me now, I have some of my F3 generation who are coming up with me. So I'm delighted to stand before you as your president going into this year. I also attended my first conference in 2005. And so I have been with the GSSA for 20 years. Going forward, thank you. Going forward, I would like to focus on a number of the things that we have seen coming up at this symposium. We've spoken about how important it is to reconnect with our farmers, to reconnect with our land users, and to explore how we can start to reinvigorate those events that we used to have pre-COVID, when we would go and have farmers' days, we would go and have days where we would engage with our land users. And so that's something that I would really like to focus on. And I would also like to focus on our collaboration with other societies. We focus a lot on interdisciplinary research and its importance, and we've seen that at this symposium. We've had numerous presentations from people involved in other disciplines that are working with grassland scientists, and we've seen the importance of those linkages. So I would also like to explore ways to collaborate with other societies that collaborate with us on our research and see how we can work together to forward our interdisciplinary science in the coming year. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm the F3. So now I'm going to embarrass Michelle a little bit. So I'll tell you guys how I sort of met Michelle. Not really met, how I got here. So we were in the lab 2014. I was doing honors with Michelle. And Michelle one day is like, Naledi, do you want to do masters next year? And I hadn't even thought of masters. Like, it wasn't even in my frame of thought. I was like, I need a job and then I'm out. Like, that's what I thought. So then I was like, okay, let me just do this, whatever, who cares? And that was like, it's whatever, I'll get this done in like 1 year. I didn't. So fast forwarding that, I've been with Michelle since 2014. She has been with me for all of my degrees. So, and she's been just awesome. I think without her guidance, I wouldn't even have the courage to be standing here in front of you guys. So I know that the GSSA this year is in excellent hands, okay? And thank you, Michelle. I wish you the best of luck as the new president. Okay, so now I'd like to call up Dr. Cindy Songuna to come and deliver the GSSA Awards. Stay tuned, guys.
Thank you, Naledi. You also look beautiful, by the way. Okay, I'm going to put this back, not because I'm going to be long. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Okay. All right, so my job is simple. So I'm just here to announce the GSSA Awards, and the very first award that I'm going to present, or rather read to you. It's a very special award because it does not get awarded every year. It's only get awarded when there is a deserving candidate. Okay, so the first award is called the Prestige Award, and I'm just going to read up a bit about what it's about. So this award is made to the scientists whose work has made a significant impact on range and forage science and or practice. The primary aim of this award is to encourage the scientific advancements of the discipline of range and forage science in Africa. It is aimed at all of the research fields that have an influence on the development of science and applies to research work that breaks new ground in the discipline. I am now going to read the criteria that qualifies the candidates or the people that actually get awarded this award. So this award should only recognize outstanding contributions to the science of the discipline. The research program or interpretation should be innovative. The results, and in particular, the interpretation which is applied to them, should have a substantial impact on the discipline. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens for a video of the motivation for this award.
Back because Robin asked me to stop in at the awards ceremony and say a few words about someone in the society, someone that you all have known for a much longer time than I. I first met this individual when I was in South Africa in about 2012. I was kicking around looking for people to work with, and I was visiting a number of universities and had emailed people ahead of time, and just had never heard back from this one fellow at the University of KwaZulu-Natal in Pietermaritzburg. But I was in Maritzburg anyway, and I decided to just call and say, hey, are you there? Are you there? And he said, I'm in my office. And so I stopped by, and we ended up having a tour of Ukalinga, talking about fire and grazing, which I just completed my PhD on. And I remember when Kevin Kirkman sat down and said, we should probably work together. And I said, yeah, that's kind of what I had in mind. And that's what we've been up to for a while. It's been a great pleasure to know Kevin and to work with Kevin in his lab in the Grassland Science Department or program at University of KZN. As you know, Kevin is a keen agrostologist. I don't know where I would have been with my project on Festuca costata if I didn't have Kevin there to identify this stuff for me. And I know that Kevin has been a big part of a lot of people's careers, a lot of people's lives, and investigating how grazing and fire and all sorts of rangeland management practices and uses for rangelands interact with people's livelihoods all over South Africa and throughout Africa and even the world, really. When I was teaching fire ecology, one of the papers that we spent a lot of time on was written by Kevin, comparing data from Ukalinga to the Kanza Prairie, and it was just really interesting to have that comparison on fire effects on prairie grasses and veld grasses for us to work through in class. It's really meaningful research for folks all over the world. And Kevin's always had a very good interest in all sorts of different dynamics in rangelands. Here he is with one of my students in the field in North Dakota when we were starting to talk about what the impacts of fracking are. Kevin came to visit me, and we drove to the International Range Congress in Saskatoon in 2015, and I thought maybe you might be a little bored by seeing some of this stuff going on, but then this is what we learned, that people were talking about doing exploratory fracking in South Africa. And Kevin was really keen on seeing what we could do to translate some of our knowledge from the Bakken and apply that to South Africa. So Kevin's just always very excited to learn new things, but always thinking about how they get applied and how we take things away from that. So whether you're just gonna pop up the Sani Pass with Kevin and have a beer at the top of Africa, or whether he's ready to make you some coffee on the tailgate of the Bucky after your hike, Kevin's just always really there. Has been a great mentor to me and a really good friend to keep me in line when I start trying to think about and say things about South Africa. And I always appreciate a good conversation, whether it's over a coffee or a beer or just WhatsApp with Kevin. So Kevin, I get this sense that you're about to receive a pretty fancy award from the GSSA, and it's a great honor of mine to be the first one to congratulate you on that. Thanks for everything.
Okay. So now I would like to call up Usolwazi Kevin Kirkman up to the stage. Right. Thank you. And Michelle mentioned something about being an F2 generation. I'm also an F2. Okay, so now I would like to call up Sigren Aman to come and please read the motivation for the second award. Now, this award is for the honorary membership.
Good evening, everyone. So the motivation or the background to the person I'm going to read out now is someone who has been a member of the society since 1971 and has dedicated 5 decades of his working life and post-retirement to advancing the science of forage science and promoting the objectives of the GSSA. So Dave Goodenough began his career in 1966 as a 19-year-old technician at SIDARA, providing critical support to the plant breeding programs. Over the years, he became a project leader responsible for the forage breeding at SIDARA, and from 1983 until his retirement in 2018, he led some of the plant breeding projects at SIDARA. His remarkable career is marked by the successful development of many of the forage cultivars from a wide range of species that include the various ryegrasses, fodder radishes, Eragrostis, and many other species, which to this day remain important parts of the South African livestock production systems. Dave has made a significant scientific and institutional contribution to the GSSA. He served as honorary treasurer for a decade from 1983 to 1993. He was vice president in 2000 and president in 2001. He was awarded the Best Presentation Medal in 1986 at the Congress in Glen in the Free State, and he received a Meritorious Award in 1995 and was accredited as a professional member of the Society in 1993. His long-standing commitment to scientific excellence and to mentorship has benefited numerous young scientists and pastor practitioners nationwide, and that includes me as well. In 2019, his lifetime achievements for forage science were further recognized when he received the prestigious Sanso Bayer Award and trophy for his contribution to the seed industry in South Africa. During his career, Dave consistently published also in GSSA affiliated journals, and he has remained an active and involved member of the society. And he exemplifies the spirit of service and scientific eminence. And he really deserves to be receiving honorary membership of this society. Thank you.
Okay, so the next award that we have is for a young scientist, and I would like to call up Usu to please and come read the motivation for this award.
Right. Is that okay? Before I go on to reading the motivation of this award, I just want to reflect on the importance of inspiration. And I want to do so by remembering one of the fondest memories I have of Winston Trollope, who inspired me, particularly through his humility and generosity in sharing knowledge. It was my first GSSA conference in 1998, so I beat you in time as our new president, giving away my age. And I remember, guys, this was in the days before we had cell phones, okay? So Winston was super excited because he had a video camera and he had just been overseas, and he'd managed to convince his overseas compatriots to burn a block of forest. And he implemented his treatment and he videoed this. And he showed us the video. And I just remember with this glee on his face as we watched this forest implode in flames within seconds. And you know how he goes, just fantastic. So I know the person who's the winner of this award has also had some key people who have inspired him in his life. And as a result, he went on to achieve his PhD in a very short space of time. He did his undergrad, a master's, and then PhD. So he's a young scientist. And my printer was broken, so you're going to get a shortened version, which you're quite lucky of. But what I really want to do is highlight what the essence of his work is captured by in some of the examiner reports from his thesis, which I will read out to you. I consider this to be the best thesis I've ever reviewed in my career. The work highlights a topical issue with substantial amounts of field work and laboratory work. The writing and interpretation of the results are exceptional. Another reviewer says this thesis is of high scientific quality and makes an important contribution to our knowledge in soils in South Africa. So the winner of this award has already published 3 papers. His work is already influencing policy and policy debates. And importantly, he's already gone on to start inspiring a new generation of researchers. Knowing his life story and where he came from and his humble beginnings, he's inspired me too, and it gives me great pleasure to call Lindo Dlamini up to the stage.
Thank you. Now for our next award, this is for the best paper in our GSSA journal, and I would like to call up us to come and present it. Yes. Sorry about it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to move back to that item later on. We do have the best paper. Okay, so for the next set of awards, I would like to begin with the best presentation or platform presentation. And the recipient of that award had a paper titled Savannah Woody Density Reduces Soil Phosphorus in the Munywana Conservancy, South Africa. And the recipient is Naledi Zama. Well done, MC. Okay, so the next presentation or award, it is presented to the young scientist. So this would be the best platform presentation by a young scientist. The work that was presented was based on what counts as sequestering carbon in grasslands, a look into the IPCC's methodology for reporting carbon removal under the UNFSCCC. I would like to call upon Lisa Matthews to receive the award. Oh, she's not here in person, or somebody to receive it on her, somebody to receive it on her behalf. Okay, so moving along, our next award is awarded to the best research proposal poster. And the title of this poster was Utilization of Competitive Grasses to Rehabilitate Rangelands Invaded by Parthenium Weed in South Africa. And the presenter of this poster is Roy Keister. For our next award, this is awarded to the best poster. And the title of this poster was Perceptions of Communal Farmers on the Effect of Lantana Camara on Forage Production and Human Livelihoods in Communal Rangelands of Kwelera, East London in the Eastern Cape. And the recipient of this award is Siyavuya Mtolwa. Okay, so now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving to the most exciting award. Now, this is the FOPA Award. Okay, so the condition for this award is every village has its own idiot, every circus has its own clown, but this trophy is dedicated to our very own star. Okay, but before I get to the winner, I first need to read a bit about the nominations, okay, and then I will announce the winner. Now, you're going to find this very interesting because our very first nominee for this award is our very president. And the nomination reads as follows. We nominate Dr. Tedam because Sion was ecstatic to hear that Dr. Moleseng Moshobane, previously with Sunbeam, is now with Sion. Or so she introduced him this morning. Moving on to our second nominee. So again, this nominee has already received an award. So I suppose they are very lucky this evening. So this is, of course, none other than our very special Professor Usolwazi Kevin Kirkman. Okay, so what enabled him to receive this nomination? It was divulged to us that Kevin Kirkman's ringtone used to be Hips Don't Lie by Shakira. And then we have 2 nominations for 1 candidate. So before I read the candidate's name, I'm just gonna read the nominations. Okay, so this particular candidate was a very proud vegetarian on Tuesday in the lunch line. She asked the winner, vegetarian. See, I'm thinking about studies. I'm thinking about studies. Okay, I'm so glad all the entrants are in. Okay, so she asked the waiter what protein source there was for the vegetarians. So he obviously didn't understand what she meant by sauce and proceeded to look for a protein source, like your chili sauce. Okay, so what developed was a spicy chakalaka sauce that contained about 2 small kidney beans. Luckily, only once she realized the faux pas and quickly explained that she did not want a protein powder sauce. And the next nominee reads as follows: pointing the laser pointer at the comfort screen. Now, this 3rd nominee was, of course, Heidi Hawkins. And of course, for the winner of this award, it is none other than Heidi Hawkins. By the votes, of course. Nicely framed. Congratulations. Okay, so now we're moving back to the best paper in our journal. So I would like to call us again to please present.
Okay, I just want to point out, having done 30 years of karate, I don't often get caught flat-footed, but I was most definitely caught flat-footed tonight. So what happened here was the person who asked for, the nomination so it could be included in the program, I couldn't actually give them the information, and you'll see why in a moment. And then I never got a reminder that I actually have to prepare this for this evening. So, and as you can hear from my voice, I'm not feeling great. So my apologies, especially to the winner of this award. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start. We had, as I've said in my annual report for the journal, we had 36 papers presented. So winning the best paper of the year is quite a challenge. And I'm just going to read a brief description of the paper. Grassland ecosystems have evolved alongside fire, a fundamental element that shapes and sustains the ecological balance. Recent research indicates that carbon produced during pyrogenic events in fire-dependent ecosystems may occur in more recalcitrant forms with deeper soil horizons, notably refractory carbon, organic carbon, and black carbon. Fractions are globally recognized as highly stable components of soil carbon. Here we examine the impact of prescribed fires on the accumulation of ROC and BC fractions within the South African mesic grassland soils. Our findings reveal that BC remains stable in the soil, exhibiting consistent levels across soil horizons. Increased fire frequency led to breakdown of BC in the soil. Greater BC quantities were observed in burn exclusion and prescribed burns with a greater burn interval, suggesting primarily driven by a decline in soil pH. It goes on, but I don't have the rest of the abstract here. So the authors will almost certainly know who they are. So the title of the winning manuscript was Fire Suppression Interactions with Soil Acidity to Maintain Stable Recalcitrant Pyrogenic Carbon Fractions in South African Mesic Grassland Soils. And the authors are none other than Robin Nicolai, Ntutuko Mkhize, Michelle Teeter, and Kevin Kirkman.
Oh, okay. Can all the other authors please come up as well for their certificates? The authors for the best paper. They need to please come up to the stage to receive their certificates as well. So each author gets their own certificate. Okay, moving on to our next award. Now, this is for the most prolific online adjudicator. Now, this award was awarded for the first time in 2019, and thank you to all the delegates who have participated. The winner in this year's category is Michelle North with 73 adjudications. Our last, but certainly not least award for the evening. Now, this award is for the design of the Congress60 logo. I do believe we have all seen it during the Congress. And the winner for this award is Debbie Jewett. Oh, I think she's left. Oh, she's coming. Oh. I nearly stole your moment.
Yeah, well done to all the winners. I think we should give everybody a round of applause for the last time.